Hi folks, it's me again, Dr. Stefan Schoeman, natural health practitioner here from Pretoria. I want to talk to you today about lactoferrin in colostrum. So first of all, we need to know what colostrum is. I prefer the new image colostrum from New Zealand. It's called alpha lipid colostrum. Due to an international patent, the alpha lipid patent that protects your colostrum and the ingredients of the colostrum, the components of the colostrum, and all the beautiful things that colostrum contains in that specific lipid layer and with that specific patent, worldwide patent. So that's why when we look at colostrum, I prefer the alpha lipid colostrum. So in the following slide, the next slide, you will see what is in the colostrum. So colostrum is about nutrition, immunity, growth, and recovery stimulants. So I personally look at nutrition as a stunning natural formula, God-created formula for animal and human use. And so when we look at immunity, and that's where I'm going to focus more today on, is the immunity side of it, because lactoferrin is mainly there in the immune system side. And then as a great stimulant and recovery component, colostrum assists the body in all forms of recovery. So in the next slide, I'm going to look at lactoferrin. Lactoferrin is an iron-binding glycoprotein. You will see three components in that sentence: iron, glucose orientated, and protein. So it's a combination of a sugary component, protein component, and then that binds to iron. Now, I'm trying to make it easy for you because this is more layman terms associated. I don't want to talk science and science language to you, so I want to try and make it as easy as possible. So this lactoferrin is a key component in the bovine colostrum. It presents 60% of the total protein in colostrum. So lactoferrin in colostrum helps to protect the newborn against infections caused by harmful microbes and different kinds of microorganisms. So it's there to defend the newborn, but it can also assist in our immune system too. So lactoferrin first enters the gut, and you know by previous presentations, I'm also known as Mr. Gut. Why? The gut makes up 70 to 80% of your total body immune system, and that's what we want to protect. So the nice thing about lactoferrin is it can go through the stomach acids and into the gut, and it stays protected, and we still have the advantage of the lactoferrin. And in the gut itself, this lactoferrin then binds to unbinded iron in the gut, and binds to the iron, transported into your body, and that will have great benefits to you in terms of your oxygen consumption and carrying of oxygen in the blood. So to look at the next slide, lactoferrin then in the gut makes up 70% of the total body's immune system. Then the lactoferrin survives the digestive process, and then lactoferrin promotes the growth of beneficial bacteria. Now this is a good point, and you know that the good bacteria, Lactobacillus, Acidophilus, and Bifidobacterium, these are all names of good bacteria, and the good bacteria makes up about 70% of the body's total growth of bacteria in the gut, and that gives you a healthy gut. So this lactoferrin then promotes the growth of the good bacteria. Now, what is great about this in the gut is that it helps you, the first line of protection, by taking away the iron from the bad bacteria, the harmful bacteria, because they want to have iron, and the lactoferrin binds to the iron and takes it away from the bad bacteria. So now the good bacteria have the advantage, and they don't need iron that much, so have a good advantage of overcoming the bad bacteria. The next thing we're looking at is oxidative stress. So let me explain oxidative stress to you. Here's an easy way to explain a difficult scientific term. I'm comparing it to a motor car's engine. So there's combustion in the engine, there's petrol, there's a spark, and we have combustion. And then there's a byproduct that comes out through the exhaust pipe. So in our cells we also have combustion, and the byproduct then that comes free is what we call a radical. Now this process we call an oxidative process, and iron is also one of these elements that takes part in this oxidative stress. So let's go to the next slide and I'll show to you how it works. So oxidative stress, because of iron can cause oxidative stress, lactoferrin can reduce that oxidative stress by binding and removing that iron, which prevents cell damage or cell death or even cancer. So in that sense, it also can protect us against cancer. I've mentioned the fact that lactoferrin binds to iron and starve harmful bacteria from iron. So let's look at the next slide and you will see what I mean. Lactoferrin, iron binding protein. On the right hand side you will see that bacteria require iron for growth. So they want to bind to your iron. So when we do a blood test and find that the iron levels is low, you will know that all form of bacteria then will increase in growth because they eat up all your iron and that breaks down your resistance. So on the left hand side we see that lactoferrin binds to iron, making it unfavorable for bacteria to grow. And that helps us then as humans, we've got more iron available, and that helps us in the transport system in the blood, binding the iron to the red blood cells and oxygen, and we have oxyhemoglobin. Lactoferrin has an antiviral action, and in the following slide I want to show you graphically how it works, and the two following slides will be an indication of how lactoferrin protects us against viral onslaughts. Lactoferrin has antiviral activity against viruses such as the cytomegalovirus, herpes virus, HIV, hepatitis, and also SARS-CoV. In the sketch you will see that iron, the lactoferrin, it shows there as the green sparks with the LF inside, can bind to the protein spikes on the cell membrane. You will see in the case of HIV, which is the blue circle on the left hand side, it's got a SP120 protein binding site, and the lactoferrin can bind there on that binding site, make it difficult for the HIV to progress. It can also sit then there in the center on the binding sites on the effector cell, and it can also try to block it off there. It can also on the right hand side be used as a springboard. So in another slide I will show this closer up for you. So when we look at, so in this slide you will see that lactoferrin can give protection in different ways. On the left hand side it shows that with lysozymes it can have a killing effect, entering the bacterial or viral cell and kill it. Secondly, it can sit on the adhesion surface of the epithelium cell. Epithelium cells are cells that you have in the lungs, in the sinuses, on your skin, and so they can give direct protection there. also on the secretor cells, and when bacteria starts forming a biofilm on the epithelial cell, they can come in and make it difficult for that bacteria to form a biofilm on the surface of the cells. So I want to show you the comparison between SARS-CoV, which was around in 2002-2003, known as the SARS virus, and the SARS-CoV-2, which is now known as COVID-19 and the COVID virus. So in this following slide, you will see that these two viral cells basically look identical. It's their action in the body that is different. So let's have a look at this slide. The SARS-CoV virus of 2002-2003 is on the left hand side, and the SARS-CoV-2 known as COVID-19 is on the right hand side. You will see that both of them are using the protein receptor on the body cell called ACE2. Remember, I've showed you that HIV binds to the special protein called SP120. The SARS viruses use ACE2. Then also it binds to TMPRSS2 on the cell membranes, and so the effect is, if you can work on SARS-CoV, you can also look at how can I block SARS-CoV-2. So the Chinese in 2011 did a clinical trial on the SARS-CoV virus, and they show the following. This clinical study is about the inhibition of the SARS serovirus cell entry by lactoferrin binding to the heparin sulfate proteoglycans. This is what this study was about. So in layman terms, we'll look at the next slide and we will see that the lactoferrin then prevents the virus to attach to the target cells by binding to the virus receptor on the target cells or binding to the virus itself. So you will see in A that the SARS-CoV virus comes in and sits then on this HSPG, which acts like a springboard or trampoline from where it jumps over to the ACE2 receptor, and from the ACE2 receptor it can bind and go into the cell and replicate in your cell, using your body cell as a factory. Now, the lactoferrin then in the B side binds to that HSPG trampoline jumping off area, and then this virus cannot bind to the target cell. The ACE receptor then is open and the virus cannot bind it, and that's how we neutralize the SARS-CoV virus. Can SARS-CoV-2 do the same? Well, if the receptors is the same, then I believe that it can happen. So folks, to conclude, it is clear that lactoferrin, which comes naturally in colostrum and is loaded in the alpha lipid colostrum from New Image, New Zealand, we will see that we've got ample support from the lactoferrin against this specific COVID viruses which is going around. And it also helps us to carry proteins and also iron in the body. So what a beautiful component to have as a natural support in the alpha lipid. And if you look at Imufort, Imufort is the product that is high in immune globulins. It's got more immune globulins than the alpha lipid itself, and this immune globulins are your first line of defense that binds to this virus in order to kill it, destroy it, and while the lactoferrin gives you then the protection on cellular level so that this virus cannot bind and replicate, because you don't want the virus to replicate. And then we have all the other advantages that goes, health advantages that goes with the alpha lipid. And stay healthy. Take your colostrum.